What's up, guys? It's your boy Beatty coming to you for another Q&A. I got a shit ton of questions from YouTube, Instagram, all that good shit. So I might have to separate it into two parts. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. First question from Alessandro underscore Amenti. What's your current weight? So I'm in a maintenance / recovery phase is what I like to call it. So I'm not chasing any weight. I'm not trying to gain any weight or lose any weight. Kind of just doing what I need to do as far as not overeating sodium, not overindulging in junk food in general, and excuse me, also training at about 50% of my usual training. So not 50% of my 1 rep max. Not that. That's completely different. Let's say I usually train in the 6 to 10 rep range. So what would that be for 1 rep max? I probably usually train around 70% of my 1 rep max. I want to say. Yeah, let's say if I could do 4 or 5. I don't know about 3. I usually probably train around 80% of my 1 rep max. So now, if I'm doing 50% of that, I'm probably doing close to 40% of my 1 rep max, which is not much weight at all. So, with all that being said, I'm actually not weighing myself that often. But my last weigh-in, I was about 285. It'll probably go down a bit. My appetite hasn't been too crazy, but I don't really care about my weight. But since you asked, right now about 285. All right. When you've had this muscle for a long time, man, it doesn't go anywhere. So whether you come off cycle, whether you only getting 3 meals a day, whether you're training light or not, the muscle doesn't really go anywhere. You know, if I was to do this for years, then I'll probably lose some muscle. But right now, it's really not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. This is just me at this point. On a carb cycle program, is it better to do your legs and back on high carb days? Thanks. For most people, probably yeah, because those are the two hardest body parts to train. And as far as if you want to compete in bodybuilding, those are two of the most important body parts to have on stage. I've never seen anybody with legs too big or with a back too big. That's always, the judges love the legs and back, you know what I'm saying? So for most people, that's probably the go-to, unless if you have huge legs already, which you don't see too many people with huge legs these days. But if you have huge legs already, then no need to waste the carbs on a leg day, you know what I'm saying? If you have huge legs and weak arms, well, then you probably should do the high carb day on your arm day, you know what I'm saying? Same way if you have a huge back, no point in wasting the carbs trying to get a crazy back workout. You don't really need it if you have a huge, back. So I would say do it for whatever your weak area is. So whatever your weak body parts are, those are the body parts you would try to have your high carb days on. Would you ever recommend starting a cut during a PCT? No, that's kind of against the whole point of the cycle. If you're on cycle, it's either trying to put on as much muscle as possible or trying to preserve the most amount of muscle on a cut. So if you're gonna do a cut, the PCT would be the worst time to do it. You obviously would want to start the cut on cycle and then maybe maintain it during the PCT. So I would not recommend it. Is it possible? Of course, you could cut naturally. But if you're talking about a PCT, that means you cycle. So if you're gonna cycle, you would want to do a cut on the cycle. Next question from Justin Doyle 3 on Instagram. Favorite fitness YouTubers to watch? I used to follow a lot more people than I do now, but these days I don't watch as many different channels and people aren't as active as they used to be. But basically, it's funny because my favorite YouTubers to watch happen to be the ones I have a personal relationship with in real life. I actually know these guys. I've hung out with these guys. But the funny part is also they were my favorite YouTubers to watch before I ever met them in real life. It just so happens all my favorite YouTubers, at some point I actually met them and actually built a friendship with them, or some kind of relationship, which is kind of strange. But I guess you attract whatever whatever you're most alike or most into. So I guess you kind of attract people that you like in life. But I would have to say my favorite YouTubers are Chris Jones, Beast Mode Jones. I probably was following him before I ever followed anybody else. He might be the first fitness YouTuber I've ever followed, actually. And I actually know him. That's a good friend of mine now. We talk on Instagram. I went partying with him, and dope guy. And it just so happens all these guys are also really cool people in real life. So Chris Jones, number one. Well, it's not in particular order, but he was the first one I followed. Two, I'm gonna have to say Larry Wills. I actually knew him for a long time. Since he was probably about 17-ish, back in the Bronx, New York. And he's a real cool dude as well, real laid back dude. Yeah, so that's the one I've known for the longest, for sure. And back when I knew him, he wasn't as famous as he is now. Now he has the fitness industry by the balls, man. He's doing really big things. So I respect that. That's second one. We used to actually train together. I don't know if my followers know that, but me and Larry used to train together. Back when I used to train really heavy. I still do sometimes. And so yeah, second one, Larry Wills. Third one, I'm gonna go Mike Rashid. Mike Rashid, I've been following him for a long time too, probably since like 2013-ish, maybe, something like that. And real humble dude, real cool dude, straightforward, doesn't beat around the bush. Just a dope dude, man. He fucking savage, you know. I actually went and trained at Iron Addicts Gym for SummerSlam. One of my boys, long-term friends, was actually really cool with him, really close with him. I think he even worked for his company at one point. I'm not sure on that. And he kind of introduced us, and we went out to eat lunch and everything. So I know him personally, real dope guy as well. So Mike Rashid would be 3. I'm gonna say Eric Kanevsky, obviously. I've been knowing Eric now for a while. We train together, as all you guys know. We do videos together. We create content together. And Eric is definitely one of my best friends. You know, I would say in the past couple of years, probably is my best friend. It is my best friend. Probably spend more time with him than any other of my friends. So shout out to Eric, dope dude. Or also Eric isn't really doing fitness videos at the moment. So as far as the Fluff and Puff Radio and our training together, it'll be on my channel from now on. So be on the lookout for that. Fluff and Puff Radio will be back on my channel. Don't forget, check it out. And last one, I want to say Bradley Martin. That's a really cool dude. I had the honor of knowing him in real life as well. Cool dude. I met him through Eric. Eric was a good friend of his. They had a little mishap, in their friendship. So I was there when Eric actually, squashed the beef with him at Zoo Culture. So that was dope to see that and be a part of that. But I definitely watch his channel. That's a dope dude. Enjoy his channel. I've been watching it for a long time as well. And just like the other guys, he's a really cool person in real life. Really dope guy. So I gave you 5. I know you asked. I don't know if you asked for 1, but you probably just was looking for 1. But I gave you 5. How about that? Next question. What's your take on MPP and Sust for off-season cycle? Well, test is test. So Sust is just like any other test. Only difference is it has Prop in it, and it has test decanoate, which is a long-acting tests. It also has it also has tests pheno appropriate as well, I believe. So it's three different tests: fast acting, kind of like mid to slow acting, and then it has slow acting. So it's basically like mixing Prop and E. You get the little bit of Prop to start, and then you get the long term to last. But it's all tests. It's all the same results. So and then MPP for off season cycle. What's my take on it? I would never recommend that. That's not a very optimal cycle for off season. MPP, in my experience, does not do much. You know, maybe if you throw it in like a pre-contest cycle along with a bunch of other compounds, it can help in some ways. You know, helps with the joints or whatnot. But that's not. That wouldn't be my go-to off-season cycle. A lot of people like test and deca off-season. I'm not a deca fan. I'm not an MPP fan. They're basically the same compound. Just one is slow acting, one is fast acting. I'm not a fan, bro. So I would not recommend that at all. Off-season, nah. I would go personally, if you're a beginner, I would go with an oral, like D-ball and anadrol. I mean D-ball or anadrol, along with your test. If you're a beginner, you will get way better results from that than MPP, you know. And if you're intermediate or advanced, then I will go like a test, a EQ, along with the oral. Boom. MPP and Sust wouldn't be my go-to, but if it works for you, then do it. But since you're asking me, probably either never tried it or probably doesn't work that well for you, so I wouldn't do it. Let me get one more question. I get this one a lot, so might as well answer it. How much cardio do you do when cutting? Me personally, it's however much I need. I let the diet do the work, and then I add the cardio slowly. I'll start with 20 minutes, and I'll keep going up till I'm in shape. If I'm getting leaner weekly, I won't go up. There's been preps where I did no cardio whatsoever, not 1 minute of cardio. There's been preps where I stayed at 20 minutes. There's been preps I've been up to an hour and a half cardio before. I've been even for a couple of weeks, I even did up to 2 hours, I believe. You know, wouldn't recommend that for most people, but it depends what your body is giving you, man. So when it comes to my clients, I start with minimal as possible. Make sure the diet is perfect, training is perfect. Then I kind of add as needed. But most of my clients get in shape with no more than 30, 40 minutes of cardio. For competition, they end up doing a little bit more, hour, upwards to an hour, max hour and a half. Some of the natty clients kind of have to do more just because they don't use the fat burners, the cleanse, the T3s, so they might have to do a little bit more, but I also don't want them to overdo it and get super flat. So, you know, it varies, man. I couldn't tell you. You're asking for me, though. You asked for me. Well, I hope you're not asking for my answer because you want to try it, because it doesn't work that way. What I do is not going to work for you. But even for me, it changes. So, yeah. So it all depends, man. It varies. I say get a coach and do what the coach tells you to do. That's the best way. You can hire me if you want. Just send me up on, you can DM me on Instagram at BeattyFall, or you can send me an email at BeattyFall@iCloud.com. I'll leave that in the description box below. But anyways, that's it for my Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, sign up for my coaching, BeattyFall@iCloud.com. Leave any comments of any topics you guys want to see in the future. And until next time, peace. Gains.